Hey boys, it's HarmNone. In today's weekly money guide, we're going to be focusing on one aspect of the bonus money activities that we have this week in particular that you can use to make a ton of money, potentially up to about $1.2 million per hour, if not maybe even more. So let's go ahead and get into it. But just before we do, if you could hit a like and subscribe if you're new and you like the style of content. I make these style of videos every single week, so consider doing that. All right, so this week we have some bonuses revolving around the hands-on car wash, which is going to be 40% off this week. So for those of you that don't own it yet, I would say to purchase it for $600,000. It gives you a 35% bonus on counterfeit cash factory sales permanently, and it's going to be how we're going to make this crazy bonus money this week in particular as well. And no matter what, the car wash is just a great business to own. So inside the car wash, we have three main ways to make money, and all of those ways to make money are on bonus money this week. Now, firstly, we have the car wash safe. This will pay you depending on the other businesses you own in GTA Online, and it'll typically pay up to about $30,000, maybe $32,000 every 48 minutes. However, this week it's on double money, so about $60,000 to $64,000 every 48 minutes, depending on, again, how many businesses you actually own. So this is really good, but there is something to keep in mind with this, and that's that you're going to have to keep up with getting that money out of the safe, because the capacity on the safe itself is only $100,000, which means only $100,000 can be in it at a time. So if you have 60K in there and you get another 60K, you're potentially losing out on $20,000. So you got to make sure to take that money out of the safe as fast and as often as you possibly can, so you don't lose out on any extra money. Now, the two other bonuses this week are involving the car wash business as well. One is going to be on double money, and that's going to be Mr. Favor work. And the other bonus money this week is going to be on the money laundering missions. Those are paying triple money this week. Now, Mr. Favor work is a potentially good way to make money, but really only if you have GTA Plus, because it's on 4 times money and RP for GTA Plus players. But for regular players, it's just 2 times money and RP, so it's not that great. Now, these missions are going to pay you roughly $50,000, which isn't that bad. However, in comparison to the money laundering missions that we all have access to on triple money, that's what we're going to be focusing on instead. Now, the money laundering missions typically pay $35,000 for each mission, so this week they're going to be paying $105,000 for each one that you complete. And most of the missions, if you do them through the car wash, are going to take 5 minutes or less. Now, you could do them through Higgins Heli Tours or Smoke in the Water, but I don't recommend this, because no matter what, you're going to want to keep your car wash heat low so that that safe keeps printing money. Whereas with Higgins and Smoke in the Water, the missions to reduce heat are more of a pain in the ass, but also they don't have the safe. You got to keep your car wash heat low. That's going to be the main focus. Now, to launch these laundering missions, you're going to go to the computer inside your car wash, or you're going to call RAF on your phone and select the hands-on car wash and then request a laundering mission. And you're going to wait for RAF to give you a call to give you the details on the mission. Now, this next part is very, very important. If RAF mentions something about stealing a stockade, what you're going to do is you're going to change your spawn location to the hands-on car wash, and you're going to find a new invite-only session, or a new session. It doesn't have to be invite-only, I just recommend that. Now, this is going to save you about 2 to 4 minutes potentially, because the mission involving the stockade typically takes between 7 and 9 minutes to complete, because once you've stolen the stockade itself, you're going to have to drive around to a bunch of different banks around the map. You're going to have to pick up cash from each of them, which means parking the truck, getting out, walking into the bank, getting the money, getting back into the truck, starting again. And I had to go as far as Chumash for my last bank location, which obviously in a stockade is going to be really, really slow. So this mission is way harder to complete. It takes way longer, and it is significantly longer than the rest of the money laundering missions, so I think avoiding this one entirely just makes the most sense. However, one thing I will tell you, if you have recently completed a car wash mission, I ended up losing out on $105,000 from switching sessions, I believe, because I think I should have had a little bit more money, but I didn't end up getting it, so that is something to be aware of. Now, I have heard that changing your outfit will cause the game to save, so you can potentially just change outfits before you jump sessions, if that is something that you're worried about, but just keep that in mind, okay? Just keep that in mind. I don't want you guys to lose out on money. Now, as long as RAF doesn't mention a stockade when you start the mission, go do whatever the mission is that you get. Now, do the tasks, whether it's stealing the car from the docks from the shipping container, or eliminating the enemy counterfeit cash with Molotovs, or blowing up the enemy counterfeit cash operation, Any of these missions can take as little as 4 minutes to complete. I do find that the car stealing one is really fast, and there's a little tip I have for you with that mission. The car is always going to be in a container that says alpha male on it. It will never be in another container. It will always be in the alpha male container. So find that container, that's where the car is. Now, once you've finished a money laundering mission, you're gonna get paid $105,000 each time, but it will be slightly delayed. And the money's gonna actually end up being in the back room of the car wash, where you're gonna have to go and pick it up later. But luckily you don't have to grab it right away. So I recommend not picking it up for a while, just to save yourself a tiny bit of time. Only go and get it at the end when you have just a fat stack of money in there, basically. Now, the unfortunate thing with these missions is that doing them, like I mentioned earlier a little bit, will increase the heat on your car wash business. And if it gets full, you'll no longer be able to do the missions themselves, but your car wash safe will stop producing income as well. So you're gonna have to do a car wash mission where you're gonna go and grab a customer's car, bring it back to the car wash, wash it, and then you're gonna have to return it. Now, the good thing is these missions pretty much max out at 2 miles away for the car, and a lot of the time the car is about a mile away. So it's really not that bad, and you're just going to need to do these once the heat maxes out. So luckily that means probably every 7 to maybe 9 laundering missions, and depending if your cash gets deposited into your safe, you could probably go 7 to 9 missions without having to do a car wash mission to reduce the heat level. So it's one little stutter step with this whole method that's going to be annoying. You're going to have to deal with it, but I think it's going to be pretty worth it in the long run. And that's because if you manage to complete 11 laundering missions in an hour, which is pretty doable, I think. There's 12 5-minute spans in an entire hour. I think doing 11 is pretty realistic. You can make up to $1,155,000 just from the laundering missions. This is not counting the car wash safe at all either, which you can potentially make another $60,000 in 48 minutes. So if you're able to do more than 11 missions, which you might be able to depending on the RNG of the missions and what vehicle you're using, obviously I recommend the Oppressor Mark II, but you may be able to even get 12, maybe 13 laundering missions in 1 hour. Who knows? It really depends. But this is definitely going to be the best way to make money this week in GTA Online, and I really recommend taking full advantage of this. I mean, $1.2 million an hour pretty comfortably. Even if it's a little bit less, even if it was like, you know, you're able to do 10 laundering missions, it's still $1,050,000. So I think this is just going to be a really good way to make money this week, guys. And obviously try to get as many missions done in an hour as you can, but I think 11 is going to be fairly realistic, so good luck with that. Now, I know a lot of you guys appreciate it when I do talk about this, so we're also going to talk about the HSW time trial this week too, which is going to be Del Perro Beach to Murrieta Heights. It's a nice easy one. It's relatively straight. If you just follow the route that I show here on screen, you'll get there in no time. Just watch out for cars crossing the intersections. Now, you're going to go up towards the pagoda and the skate park, and once you pass those, you're going to go through downtown past Mile High Club. You're going to go across the bridge that goes over the LS River near Los Santos Customs, up past the ammunition, and you're going to take your final right where you're going to see the grass in front of you. You're going to take that right, you're going to go to the factory, you're going to go into the factory, and that's $250,000 super easily. So I really hope that helps you guys out with the HSW time trial. For those of you that have it available, you got to take advantage of it this week for sure. Now, in addition, I wanted to mention this at the end of the video because honestly, I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sure people are sick of hearing about it. We still have the free $1 million available this week if you've missed it in the past 2 weeks. And additionally, we also have the final rendition of that $500,000 bonus available. That's going to be for participating in 5 community jobs. That's going to be available this week for the final time. So another $500K. And the weekly challenge this week is going to be to win 3 races. And if you do that, you're going to get a bonus $100,000. So we got a pretty good week on our hands, guys. Make sure you're taking advantage of this car wash stuff. The laundering missions are going to be insane. I really think they're a great way to make money this week, and I hope you guys can manage to take advantage of it and make yourselves a lot of money this week in online. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or you learned something. Consider subscribing if you guys are new. I do this every single week. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Hey.